In June of 1997, the NHL announced that it would be expanding with 4 new teams. 2 in cities without a major sports team, and 2 where hockey markets had not been successful in a prior attempt. The latter 2 cities were the Minneapolis-St. Paul area and Atlanta, previously home to the North Stars and the Flames. With 30 teams under the NHL's belt at the turn of the millennium, each of these teams encountered predictable, early disappointment. But not only did these franchises survive, they eventually thrived, to varying degrees. As they adopted new faces of their franchises or amassed their own playoff history and lore, the sheer inertia of them having existed for years into decades gave them earned legitimacy in the hockey world. In 2007, one of those franchises would meet its complete opposite, and their series would be an omen for both of things to come. After having one of the worst inaugural seasons in league history, the Thrashers showed steady signs of improvement. With cornerstone draft picks like Danny Heatley, Ilya Kovalchuk, and Kari Lehtinen, they finally clinched the Southeast Division crown and a playoff spot in the final game of the 06-07 season. Among the Thrashers, the youth contingent, at least youth relative to the Rangers, shined brightest that season in the person of Marian Hossa, who hit 100 points in 07 for the first and surprisingly only time in his career. Ilya Kovalchuk, far and away the franchise leader in goals and points, had a slight offensive depression in his 5th season in the league, but by no means was less of an offensive threat than at any other point in his career. Switching gears here, on both teams there was also a sizable contingent of legend holdovers from the clutch and grab era. On the Thrashers, these came in the persons of Slava Kozlov, who had a career year at age 34, and Keith Tkachuk, who the Thrashers acquired on February 27th for a package that ultimately amounted to Glenn Metropolitan and Mikhail Backlund. In net was a sprightly young Kari Lehtinen, who, along with Andrei Pavlik, were up for being considered the up-and-coming franchise goaltenders. In his first year as a starter, he was pretty solid. But how would he fare in his first playoff action? Atlanta's full lineup contains even more names that fans from the Dead Puck era would probably be familiar with. Bobby Holik, Eric Belanger, Greg DeVries, Alexei Zhitnik, etc. And the same went for the Rangers. Headlining their household name-filled lineup was the inimitable, eternal, undying Jaromir Jagr. As is customary every single time Jagr is mentioned in public discourse, I have to remind those present of his age at this point in time, since all of his career seems to be devoid of any kind of age. He was 34. His most notable teammates consisted of Michael Nylander, Marty Straka, and Brendan Shanahan. The last 2 in particular had shared a slew of clutch playoff moments between them. In net was another legend, but of the future, not the past. Henrik Lundqvist was getting his sophomore playoff action, after being dispatched in the first round the year prior. Oh well, greatness from small beginnings. As you look at the Rangers lineup, you may be surprised to see some familiar names. If you can't quite place it, let me give you a quick refresher. Matt Cullen, Nick Havlid, Jason Krog, Vitaly Vishnevsky, Steve Ruchin, and the injured Sandis Ozelinch, who played for one or both of these teams this season, all played on the 2003 Mighty Ducks of Anaheim, whose video christened this series. Go on and give it a look. In many ways, a lot of old hands would be getting another crack at the whip in this series. In many ways, a lot of youth would be getting their first shot. To date, the New York Rangers have been a team for 97 years. The Atlanta Thrashers would only exist for 12. But back in 2007, how much of a mark would they be able to make on the league? Would they simply disappear as if they were never in the dance in the first place? Or would they give the league their very damnedest, proving to them on the biggest stage that they were an NHL team? As usual, the start to this playoff series took a while to really get going.
Larson takes a hit. Got it free to Dupuis. Left circle shot. Save. Lundqvist rebound. Holik missed the net. It comes back. Save again, or that might have hit the post off Larson's shot.
But once the Thrashers got physical, everything fell into place.
Well, James, JP, real good start to this one.
Not a feeling out process, is it? Mara Sim picks it up. Checked there by Ortmeyer. Slater shoots. Save made. Looking for a give and go, and he got it. Sent it in wide, though. What a setup for Jagr.
Zhitnik lost his hockey stick. Surprised he didn't get a holding penalty on that. He was behind Yager trying to do everything he could to do.
Oh, and he was still playing without the stick when the goal was scored by Yager.
The first goal had to go to someone, and even though Atlanta had the edge to that point, the Rangers had Yager, who, judging from this shot, may have been Alex Ovechkin in another life. Atlanta's superstar wanted to show some fire of his own.
Brings it over the line. Ilya looks, shoots, save, nice glove by Lundqvist on a tester from Kovalchuk.
The Rangers would make short work of a late first power play.
Right out in front. Pruka couldn't get to it. Tapped away from Yager. He'll play it back to the point. Straka. Roosevelt fires it, a score in front. I believe that was chipped in by Pruka.
With their own power play, the Thrashers would capitalize with equal prejudice.
Kachuk, Havlin, in front, scored! Belanger, first goal in Thrashers playoff history.
Eric Belanger blew the roof off of Phillips Arena to head into the intermission on a sick deflection that somehow was only his second career playoff goal. The Thrashers rode that energy into the second period.
Back for Hossa, behind the net, coming out in front. Couldn't get the backhand away. Rebound, jamming the net. And that puck just wouldn't go in, and now the bodies get tangled up.
Tom Rennie said, kid had the requisite energy.
Holy fires, and he missed the net. Slater tapping it in. Pass in front, Larson shot, save Lundqvist.
But after two momentum-killing penalties, the Thrashers' defense finally caved.
A lot of room for Nylander, out of the left side. Big shot and a score. I think Marcel Hossa tipped that.
He did.
So the gap is back to 2. And the Thrashers needed to button down on the penalties. They'd taken 4 minors already, and it wasn't even halfway through regulation.
Penalty here. It's on. New York. Score! 90! They will need the power play.
Well, okay then. Shane Knighty absolutely destroys Henrik Lundqvist's water bottle on a goal that's, well, kind of unstoppable. But it's a 1-goal game again. And Atlanta did their damnedest to tie it.
In front, that's blocked, picked up by DeVries at the side. Kozlov shot saved Lundqvist, and he hangs on to it. It's off the stick of Kachuk. Nearly sprung him, but look out here. Here's Yager sensing it, bringing it in at the circle. Missed the net. Kari coming out to challenge. Right to Kachuk on the giveaway. Drops it. Kovalchuk fires. Blocker save there. The hit there, but here's a 2-on-2. Hossa broke it up and right to Pruka. He turns, shoots, off Levin's glove, and then knocked in. Nylander.
Speaking of tough goals, Lettinen muffs this puck grab, and just like that, he's let in 4 goals on 25 or so shots. They're not all on him, but those percentages still aren't good. Into the third, the Thrashers desperately tried to climb out of the hole that their boo-boos had dug them.
Here's Dupuis, getting space, backhander, off the post and out. Holy got it back. Center point drive, sticked away by Lundqvist. Then by Mera. Avery trying to come around. Oh, what a hit. Exeby again. A giveaway. Holy took a high stick, took the shot, tried to squeeze it. Loose behind the net, now in front. Score, Dupuis! Thrashers are back at it.
This lead-having goal was a scrambly, broken one, and the kind that had eluded both teams to this point in the game. But more importantly, it came off the back of sustained energy from the Electric Blue. Phillips Arena yelled their lungs out to will the Thrashers to a tying goal.
Point. Shidnick shot, save in front with a big screen there from Belanger. Another fires, it's blocked. He got it right back. Havlin coming in, big shot. Nice save in front there. Belanger to Kozlov. He holds. Big slapper is blocked, and then Lundqvist tapped into the corner. Corner Melleby gains possession and position. To Shidnick. He fires it wide.
Flawless Rangers defense kept it 4-3, but a last-minute penalty could give the Thrashers the X factor they needed to tie it.
At the circle. Backhander in front. Saved by Lundqvist. The pass out. One more shot. Shidnick. Kovalchuk fires. Missed the net. Kozlov missed. 1 second, that's it. What an ending. Rangers win Game 1. What a finish. Although it did not go the Atlanta Thrashers' way.
Think back on like the Thrashers and their time in Atlanta. What's like the one memory that sticks out?
Well, it's kind of interesting because the memory just happened recently, and that's when we were asked to make a presentation to a couple of Thrasher players for the Player of the Month award, and my son was able to present an award to Andrew Ladd, and I carry it around as a photo. In fact, it's my startup photo.
Oh wow!
It's hard to see it in there, but
we can see it. I don't know.
But seeing the look on my son's face when we're at hockey games, the joy in his face, it's irreplaceable. It's been a sport that we've been able to bond together on, and just watching him grow up, become an avid hockey fan, watching my daughter, who's 27, become an avid hockey fan, and just get wrapped up in the Thrashers. It's been irreplaceable. So that's the memories I will take from me if they wind up leaving. And if they say we're just going to enjoy more of it.
Instead of Lettinen, Johan Hedberg, affectionately known as Moose, would get the start this time. Sometimes a coach just wants a new look, and it's not so much that the old goalie was bad. Both teams played, honestly, very tentative hockey in the first few minutes. Kind of boring. Until...
Proved that we're awfully good in game number 1.
Here's Tkachuk with a steal, trying to get control. Comes in, Wade shoots. Lundqvist got a piece of that. Now Kovalchuk with a chance. That is stopped by Lundqvist.
And all of a sudden, the Thrashers were ready to stomp the Rangers. But God had other ideas.
He said he wanted his team to not stand around and watch to start this game.
Oh, they scored!
The puck is in the net as Johan Hedberg started to come out.
It went off the linesman or something on the far side, and he went to stop it behind the net, and it went into the open side. He had no chance on it whatsoever. That puck was not supposed to go to the front of the net.
Nothing Hedberg could have done there. Just a timeless, fluky goal, and a brutal break for the Thrashers, who had been the better team to that point. How would they respond?
After a hit, carries the puck into the Ranger zone. Trying to get through for a shot. The blocker saved by Lundqvist there. Atlanta did not have a single shot on goal on that power play. Avery hits hard to the glove by Exelby.
The Thrashers took their anger out on Sean Avery, who else, but couldn't find Twine on the ensuing power play. Another opportunity gone. The Thrashers showed no signs of fighting back in the second, as play for both teams was slowed by both stout defense and cringeworthy misplays.
Wow. Here is Hossa with a shot that's deflected in front, and Belanger hit the side of the net. And when the netting moved down there, some of the crowd thought it was in. Covered from the shoulder problems he had. Here's a chance. Hedberg save. Rebound comes loose. Goes the ball with a shot. Trying to go high on the short side.
Hedberg came up clutch while his team languished in the doldrums.
Comes on the box. Here's a chance. Striker for Yager. Save. Rebound. Chance on the stop by Hedberg. Brendan Shanahan.
Job on the lines, getting pucks out of their zone, and Avery just outbeat him.
Oh, here's a pass in front. Oh, what a play by Lundqvist. Right back, Shanahan, top of the circle. Wrist shot save. Rebound cleared by Bolt. Picked up now. Girardi and drive out. Hit the goal post. Line on the ice. Here's a steal by Ortmeyer. He darts in and sprung across. Hedberg takes it all away.
But those doldrums held on to the Atlanta skaters tight and didn't even let them breathe until the third period.
Open, so it's going to be kind of a grunt goal that Kovalchuk's going to have to cash in on.
Here's a chance, and Lundqvist came back across on the rebound. Anticipated, made a good defensive play. Here's Avery to a loose puck. He shoots it. Hedberg to save. Here's Holik. Hits the late man coming to Cleveland with a shot, and that's deflected just wide. And he's got John Sim out here on the line with Kovalchuk and Tkachuk. Tkachuk back to Kovalchuk. And he scores! Ilya Kovalchuk ties the game.
This play by Kovalchuk is awesome. It starts with a small give and go with Tkachuk below the goal line, but Kovalchuk spins to the outside away from the defender Straka to give himself just a hair of space as he opens up to his teammate. And the cherry on top, a vintage Kovalchuk snipe. Great stuff from him and exactly what the Thrashers needed. Further into the third, you got the feeling that the next goal was going to be enough.
A loose puck picked up by Avery. He's in alone. He shoots. Save. Rebound. No! What a save! Far side. Kovalchuk. Tkachuk. Down low. Marion Hossa centering pass. Lundqvist down. Still no whistle. Went off the skate. It comes back to Yager. He kept it into the line. Hands it off. Brady Lander centering pass. Back play. Hedberg. He's got it. Up the board. Taken here by Feder Tooten. He's run into by Hossa. Rangers send it back toward the front of the net. Avery centering it them now. He sets it up. Shanahan scores! Oh, what a setup by Sean Avery to Brendan Shanahan. And the Rangers have a 2-1 lead.
A back-breaking goal off a defensive lapse. Those are the kinds of goals that are so common in hockey, but all the same are the difference between advancing and elimination in the playoffs. The Atlanta Thrashers still had not even had a lead all series, and in 2 games in front of their home fans, they wouldn't get a win either.
And now Larson was on the ice and Sutton was on the ice.
I remember watching the press conference announcing the sale. It was just Guerin speaking to local media, when about halfway through he started to explain that his son was going to be disappointed because he was such a huge Thrashers fan. While he was going on and on about his kid, he actually started to cry on television. I found the whole thing hysterical. Here he was, concerned about how his kid would react when there were hundreds or thousands of other kids who loved the team. Not to mention the thousands registered for youth hockey in the state thanks to the interest that the Thrashers generated. I wished he could sit down with each and every kid and explain to them what happened. Every kid that met Kovalchuk at practice. The little girl who absolutely adored Johan Hedberg, the one that he always made a special point to talk to, even when he came back as a New Jersey Devil. The 7-year-old boy who learned Finnish because his idol, Kari Lehtinen, was from Finland. I wanted him to have to tell those little kids that hockey was gone, and that it would probably never come back. The Rangers came home to the illustrious Madison Square Garden with as comfortable a lead as they could possibly have to that point. And before the scorebug even showed on screen, that lead became more comfortable still.
Here comes Yager. Nice pass, Nylander. Score!
Yager, who is seemingly everywhere, engaged in a bit of role reversal with Nylander on a Thrashers defensive lapse. Just like that, 1-0. And it took an eternity for Atlanta to get even their first good look.
Weaving his way, shot blocked by Tooten, another shot saved by Lundqvist.
Garnet Exelby did everything he could to stymie the Rags rush.
Down to the play, big check by Garnet Exelby. Here's a chance for Marcel Hossa, save, rebound, score! Nylander does it again!
The Yager-Nylander connection struck again, but this one was basically all Yager. The guy's 34. And he took control of this shift and discombobulated the Thrashers D all by himself. Legend. Halfway through the first, and the Thrashers were down 2-0 in the series and 2-0 in the game. The hole they were in couldn't get much deeper. Could it?
Controlling a nice pass to Malik with room. Hooks to the net. Fake shoots, missed the far post. Rangers totally controlling the puck here. Yager got bumped by Nylander. Nylander's got the puck. Malik scores!
Guess who? Yager and Nylander in on the forecheck. Although the young Kari Lehtinen really needs to have this one. And with that third goal, Lehtinen was not pulled? Interesting. Hedberg had obviously been the superior goaltender to this point, but I guess Bob Hartley just wanted to see what Lehtinen was made of.
This is there. Checked by Zhitnik. Also, some nice moves. The shot deflects off the glass.
But in this game so far, the Thrashers had no answer for the Rangers.
Ryan Callahan moving in. Callahan, Spinorama shot save. Callahan again.
They needed an intermission. Stat. Even what meager looks the Thrashers had, they could do nothing with.
With great speed. Dupuis to the net. He fanned on the shot. He lost control.
For a minute there, it looked like they may crawl their way back into it.
Penalty upcoming on the Rangers. Holik moves in 2-on-1. Save made.
It was just a little soft play.
Nicely to Kovalchuk. In deep is Kozlov, and he tipped it behind the net.
But then, the bottom just gave out.
Clear. 2-on-1 developing. Callahan moves in. He shoots. He scores! Ryan Callahan! Nice play by Avery. Merrill with a drive. He scores! It may have been tipped in front by Callahan. Cullen. Crockett to Cullen. He's in. Save. Rebound. Another save. Nothing in this game. Rangers power play. Shanahan. It deflects in. The big shot by Shanahan goes in. In deep. Nylander scores! Michael Nylander. It's a power play goal and a hat trick. Rangers' first home playoff win in nearly 10 years. His 10th Thrashers 3-0.
Sean Avery would get under a frustrated Kovalchuk's skin enough to draw him into 17 penalty minutes and a game misconduct to add insult to injury, but not before he made the guy bleed his own blood. All throughout this game, though, the Thrashers just kept losing their cool. There was a massive penalty differential here, and coming out of this awful drubbing that sent the Thrashers to the very brink, the highest point scorers for the Thrashers in the regular season were both pointless and a -5. It really could not get much worse, and the light on the Thrashers' appearance in the postseason was rapidly fading, and it was in danger of blinking out of existence entirely. In late May of 2011, a few hundred Thrashers fans tailgated outside of Phillips Arena to bid farewell to their beloved team. By all, and I mean all accounts of the mood that day, nobody was feeling anything close to positive. Many held back tears as they flipped through ticket stubs. It's hard to watch as a fan because there's nothing you can do but show up. You can voice your opinion and you can show up, but that's all you can do. Nobody could be consoled. Harry the Hawk, Atlanta's NBA mascot, arrived at the tailgate on a scooter, dished out a few high fives, and then, according to the San Diego Union Tribune, put his mouth over the head of Xana Huff, a bystander wearing a Thrashers jersey. Now he's trying to eat my girlfriend's head, which is disgusting. Having Harry the Hawk here, it's not that I have anything against the Hawks, but it's the Atlanta spirit shoving their other asset in our face, which is just deplorable. There was heavy blame cast on Gary Bettman, of course, for allegedly rushing the sale of the team to Winnipeg. Blame of the ownership core for not caring about the team, which fans felt they could only respond to by not buying tickets, which obviously created a vicious cycle of apparent low interest. None of the players nor the management showed up for the event. It would be the last time the Atlanta Thrashers organization's fans would meet together officially. Ever. Hedberg played it cool to start the game, drawing about 4 or 5 whistles in the first 4 or 5 minutes to keep the Rangers and their crowd at bay. And finally, something paid off for the Thrashers.
Kovalchuk against Polk. Pass in front, score! Keith Tkachuk off a great feed from Ilya Kovalchuk, and the Atlanta Thrashers have the lead for the first time in the series.
Kovalchuk finally has a shift where he takes over the ice, and voila! One superstar sets up another, and Atlanta is in good standing early. The only issue is, this is finally happening when the Thrashers are in a 3-game hole. It would have to be the first synthesis of very many, even to make the series competitive.
Choice. Rangers scored 3 power play goals last night, 3 for 9. Straka. Roosevelt shoots. He scores! It may have been tipped in front. It's a power play goal!
Basically, every platitude the Thrashers could have gassed themselves up with was meaningless. It's still early? Well, that was the only lead they'd had all series, a series that they were on the verge of being swept out of. It's only 1 goal? Well, the Rangers had 7 in that same barn the day before. But the Thrashers knew the time for platitudes was long, long gone. Only their play on the ice could vindicate them, or else banish them to the dustbin of history.
By Keith Tkachuk. Comes out. Down low, Melody saved by Lundqvist. Great pass by Keith Tkachuk. Avery looking. Open man Malik. Winds and fires. Deflected away. Long shot knocked down. Backhander Hossa off the glove of Lundqvist. Getnick's got it. Blocked by Hossa. Try to get it to Yager. Save made by Hedberg.
The Thrashers would escape the first period with a 1-1 tie, and honestly, they looked better than they did all series, despite losing the lead the way they did. But it was only 1 period of 12 straight they would have to win if they were going to win the series. Both teams swung for the fences in the second period.
By Hossa around to Yager. Out to Marek Malik. Here's Hossa, saved by Hedberg in good position. Off the bench, Mara. Down low, Kruka. Saved by Hedberg, he's got it. In front to Puig, save. Holy rebound, saved by Lundqvist. And he was in great position. Blocked and taken away. Exelby, the defenseman, moves in. Off the left arm of Lundqvist.
Atlanta locker room for a good 10 minutes.
Yager moving in. The shot wide.
Would he get plenty on that? He didn't miss by much.
Watching in a vacuum, you'd be forgiven that thinking the series was dead even. It just felt like solid, even hockey. You'd never think the Thrashers were holding on for dear life.
Lead for Marian Hossa. And a penalty on the Rangers. Save! 2 saves by Lundqvist. Another shot by DeVries. He scores on a delayed penalty.
Despite missing an embellishment from Avery, the refs awarded a delayed penalty to the Thrashers seconds later, and there was no giving in from Hossa, nor Dupuis, nor DeVries, and the Thrashers could breathe a little again. MSG thought that Avery had been interfered with, however, and their griping bore fruit soon after.
Kruka taken down by Sutton, and that's a penalty call.
Time for the Thrashers to actually hold a lead.
By 6:15, here comes Nylander, drops it back, Yager. He shoots, saved by Hedberg.
The penalty was killed off, and Atlanta played like a new team.
90 with a shot, save and a long rebound. Shot by Sutton, missed the net. Big drive, another shot by 90 wide.
But some things are just inevitable.
Shanahan with Straka. Shanahan shoots, scores! Brendan Shanahan ties it at 2.
Brendan Shanahan, who at this point in time was somehow older than Jaromir Jagr, yes, there are human beings that are that, proved that some skills, like a quick wrist shot, never really leave you. And it was a brand new game going into the final period of Game 4.
Their feet at the Garden. The Rangers and Thrashers will go to the third period tied 2-2.
Bill Sangstacken was an avid Thrashers fan who also had the unfortunate distinction of having been a Whalers fan prior. Already having the relocation of a beloved team weighing on him, now he was on the brink of undergoing it a second time. The Thrashers' move would be all the more bitter as Sangstacken ran a fan club called the Nasty Nest in Section 300 of Phillips, who would travel on the road to support the team together. He felt, succinctly, "We've been like the red-headed stepchild of Atlanta sports." Hockey's a great game, too.
From the Rangers, can they get the sweep? Can Atlanta get the win that they need to keep this series alive and force Game 5 in Atlanta Friday night? Hook again, got it through to Cullen. Big drive, he scores! No! I thought it was in, it went off the bar. Kruka in front, knocked away, backhander saved by Hedberg, and the whistle stops play.
There's the overhead. This will give us another look. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's in the net. It's a goal. Rangers lead 3-2. And gave it away to Marcel Hossa. He shoots, save. Hedberg went through him, but wide of the net. Tootin couldn't clear. Kovalchuk, save. Rebound, save. 2 saves by Hedberg. Nice touch pass. Avery moves in. He shoots, save by Hedberg. Rebound, Shanahan. Oh, he couldn't lift it over. Zhidnik feeds Hamelin. 10 seconds in the power play. Marian Hossa, saved by Lundqvist. He's got it. Here's Roosevelt for the drive. Knocked down in front. There's a rebound. And a good effort by Exelby. In front, just missed by Marcel Hossa. Yager against Exelby with Nylander. Yager, save Hedberg. An advantage the Rangers had. Hedberg trying to clear, hit his own man. Shanahan shot blocked by Zhidnik. Here's Cullen. In front, Avery hit the post. He was tied up by Shane 90, the defenseman pitching in. Kachuk puts it in front, off the stick. Shot by Sutton, hit the post. Shot by Kachuk, blocked. Avery against Shane 90. Avery drives to the net. Smothered, great save by Hedberg. Empty net for Atlanta, they pull the goalie. And it's taken away by Yager. Yager to the empty net, score! The captain, Jaromir Jagr, fills the empty net, and the Rangers lead 4-2.
Any franchise is so much more than ownership and players and stadiums and TV contracts. The lifeblood of every last one of them is the fans. Even among the franchises that are destitute or cursed or short-lived, there are countless memories made, countless tokens of better days held onto, and countless moments of joy made because of them. And even if the team is long gone, No distance or days gone by can make these things any less real or less valuable. When the Thrashers relocated, it put an end to a long, arduous existence in the ATL that saw all kinds of dark clouds follow them. Inept and bickering owners, player controversy, and even death, draft busts, and above all else, a lack of roster talent that would make them a contender. But one factor is conspicuously absent from that group: the fans. To this day, Atlanta Thrashers fans will attest that interest in the team was not at all at critical mass to necessitate a move, that they were as passionate as every other fan base, good team or not. It's easy to enjoy laughing at floundering franchises or wallowing in the ineptitude of our own teams, but at least we have those things. They are out there on the ice, and they're playing hockey, and they're doing it for us. Whether they're rubbish or world beaters or frustrating or electric or inept. Someday, you and I may not be so lucky. In Atlanta, in one horrible instance, every single ounce of the care for the Thrashers rested on the fans. And for 1 week in April of 2007, the world saw how heartbreaking even their highest point as a franchise was. But as the saying goes, it's better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all.